Ever tried a pack for a 2-week vacation the night before? You have way too much stuff, and you're just pressing down on the lid, praying the zipper holds. Making your first song often feels exactly like this. In digital audio, there is a strict limit to how loud your music file can be before it maxes out. We call this headroom, and you can think of it as the rigid outer shell of your digital suitcase. It will not stretch. When you drop in a sudden, very loud sound, like a heavy bass drop, it acts like a giant pair of winter boots. It instantly takes up almost all the vertical space inside the container. These massive bass spikes hog the room, leaving almost no space for the delicate, quieter sounds, like lead vocals, guitars, or crisp hi-hat. Professional audio production requires fitting a massive variety of frequencies into this highly limited container without destroying the contents. When a beginner notices their track is quieter than a professional song, they often grab the master volume knob and force the whole track louder to compensate. Pushing audio past the ceiling creates distortion, a harsh, crackling noise. This happens when the audio breaches the digital limit, much like a suitcase zipper failing under extreme pressure. Professional producers create loud, punchy tracks by rethinking how they pack the audio from the start. Achieving a professional volume depends on smart internal space management. To manage that space, we use a compressor. Think of this as an assistant that watches for the tallest, rowdiest volume spikes and instantly pushes them down. As the bar lowers from the top, it squishes the audio so everything sits flatter and more uniformly inside the digital space. However, applying this to a whole song has a downside. Squishing the entire suitcase at once crushes the delicate shirts just to make the big boots fit. Treating every instrument with the same heavy blanket compression makes the final song sound lifeless or creates an awkward pumping effect. Basic compression solves the volume limit while sacrificing the balance of the mix, which is why we use a more precise tool. Inside FL Studio, that tool is Maximus. It's a multi-band compressor designed specifically to solve this crushing problem. Maximus divides the song into 3 packing cubes: lows, mids, and highs. It automatically sends bass to low, vocals to mid, and cymbals to high. Now you can aggressively squish the rowdy bass in the low cube while leaving fragile vocals untouched. Maximus controls chaotic frequencies individually, maximizing space and preserving the clarity of every instrument. With our 3 packing cubes perfectly compressed and organized, we now have empty space at the top of the digital suitcase. Mastering is the final act of turning up the overall volume of these neatly packed cubes together to fill that empty space. Because the wild spikes were pre-tamed by the packing cubes, the suitcase can be filled to the absolute brim without distortion. Mastering is the logical process of organizing audio to maximize available space so the final track sounds huge. Opening Maximus for the first time can look like staring at a complex spaceship dashboard. Focus strictly on the 3 main tabs, labeled low, mid, and high. These tabs represent the 3 packing cubes, using the automated squishing logic we just covered. Mastering with Maximus means understanding how to smartly pack your lows, mids, and highs, so they play perfectly together.